Hi, my name is Bernard. You could call me the Meister, and I'm at Jambo Spaces.
Hello, my name is Ivy Prosper, and welcome to Jambo. Here in Ghana, this creative co working space was launched for the purpose of bringing creators together to have somewhere that they can do their work, spark ideas, and create for the future. I'm going to talk to the co founders of this space and find out more about what inspired them, as well as what they see for the future of this and for Africa's creativity. I'm really excited to be here today. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Sanav Couture for my necklace and to Habarata for this beautiful hand-dyed jacket. I love it. Thank you so much. Now let's get into this episode.
So, Jambo is a collection of co working spaces. It's basically like a hub or a center for where all kinds of creative people can meet, connect, collaborate, and create. Yeah.
Where did the idea for Jambo come from?
So the idea was basically to answer the question of where is the creative community in Accra. There's a lack of that. There are a lot of creative people in Accra, but there's not one place where you can go find people, creative people from all like diverse disciplines. So this is like a space where they can come create, come connect, and come collaborate.
I first met you in person in 2021
Yeah.
because we both were doing the TEDx
Yeah.
talk, which was really great to meet you at that time and just to watch your journey and how things have been. For those who are watching that don't know who you are, tell us your background because I know you're in the creative and the tech
Yeah.
spaces. Just share a little bit about who you are and what
Okay,
you've done.
so I've been working professionally for, I'd say, 12 years, since 2010-ish, 11. Yeah, so I started my career in advertising as a graphic designer. So I worked as a full-time graphic designer in an ad agency called 4AM Sachi. They were a Latin American agency who had come to Ghana, and they were working for Tigo, only for Tigo. So I was working as a graphic designer, and whilst on the job, I picked up copywriting skills. So I mean, I get bored very easily, and I always want to see myself doing something new. So whilst in the agency, I moved from graphic design to copywriting, and then eventually client management. I think I ended up in client management because they were a Latin American agency. They were having difficulties communicating with the client, and the client used to just be very comfortable communicating with me. And then before I knew it, I started understanding the workings of how it should be on the client side because I was on the agency side. So, and that's how I got into working at Vodafone. So from there, I moved to because we were an agency for a telco, which was Tigo. I moved into Vodafone, which was the second largest telecom company. So I moved into Vodafone to work on digital marketing. So I was the first ever brand and digital specialist at Vodafone at a time where brands didn't know how to use their socials in Ghana. Like the socials existed, but there was nothing like strategy. Everybody was just posting something on Facebook for posting's sake. So I basically, I would say I'm like a pioneer of that time where we were actually thinking of strategies, content calendars, and all that. So I worked in Vodafone for 3 years, did brand and digital, did some customer loyalty, and did youth marketing where I launched the famous Vodafone X.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, that was my thing.
Oh, wow.
So I worked with Vodafone X, and it was amazing. It was so good that MTN came up with
Their own.
MTN Pulse, Tigo came up with Tribe, Airtel came up with Flex, and it became a thing.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Tonaton,
Yes.
e-commerce, as the marketing manager there. Did some good stuff there. And then I started doing music. I basically set up my own music label called Meister Music. And I basically discovered Mr. Easy. So
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know this.
yeah. So I mean, he was my friend. very talented guy, and then I had like the structure and everything, and I helped push his music up and signed him onto Master Music. So yeah, so his in the beginning of the career, Bankula, Kintai, that era, it was me at the helm of it all. So I did that on the side whilst working at Tonaton. And after Tonaton, I moved. I tried to do the music full time for a while, but then I mean, I'm a corporate guy, so I went back to work full time because Haptel then was called SMSGH, and they were trying to do a complete rebrand. So Haptel, someone reached out to me and said, "Yo, we need help. We need a brand manager." So I joined Haptel as the brand manager for the rebrand from SMSGH to Haptel, and right after that, I moved on. So after Haptel, I set up my own agency called Brandmeister. My first client was Bloomberg. So Bloomberg was like my thing. Like I helped them set up from scratch to what they are now. Yeah, Bloomberg was my biggest baby, my first project running my own agency. Which
Bloomberg is one of the biggest
super
popular
successful
bars in Ghana.
Yeah.
People come from around the world and they want to go to Bloomberg.
And if you come to Ghana, you don't go to Bloomberg. You've not been to Ghana. So yeah. Now, so you can see like the trajectory. Like I've been in brand marketing, and even in Vodafone, I was responsible for Vodafone Icons, the reality music show. I was working on VJMA, Vodafone Live, O2O Live. So and Vodafone X, I've always been like in the heart of culture, in the heart of entertainment, in the heart of creative stuff. Yeah. And then, so setting up my agency, then I went to do my master's in the UK in brand leadership for a year, and while still running my agency, but like my partner, that's when I met Therese, the one that's my partner here now. So that's when I met Therese, and then we set up Brandmeister together. I left and she was running it in my absence. We did so many amazing stuff with her leadership, and I just knew that moving forward, I everything I work on, she's gonna be by my side. So that's how like we've been progressing till this very day. So Jambo Spaces, because we started our agency working from a workspace called Workshed, we had seen the vision, or we had seen the business model play out. But also beyond just having a business model, we thought that it was important that we had a place where all creatives can come together. I've been to places around the world. I've been to the UK, where I've seen that when you go to Shoreditch, there are places that you have creatives come together from diverse disciplines. I've been to Kenya and Nairobi, and I've seen spaces like that where you have creatives in one space, all kinds of creatives who are collaborating, because it's only through collaboration that you'll be able to create unique stuff, because you have a different skill set, I have a different skill set, but we're all creative. We come together and we create something completely unique. And the way the creative space works too, you need a mix of diverse skills to be able to arrive at something, because a designer needs someone who would print eventually. A spoken word artist needs someone who will do some visuals for them, and a video person will need someone who will do a voiceover. So you can see how there's an interwoven, interlocking, how do you call it, synergy amongst creatives. So we are like, okay, we want to do a space where all these creatives are going to come together, but it's not practical to have a space where it's just a studio and then you just come and create and you go. We want them to also learn to be professionals. Creatives are very free. A lot of them are like, they are not stuck in the box. And sometimes it harms them in some way, because having some level of structure or knowing how to negotiate or monetize your craft can harm you too. So because of our our background and then our skill and our experience in business too. And so it's like that merger between being creatives and being business people, entrepreneurs, coming together to be able to equip the everyday African creative to be able to monetize their craft, to be able to take make a profession out of or a business out of their craft. A lot of creatives don't even know how to do a business plan.
Yeah, it's very true.
Or don't even know how to include research and data into stuff they do, or even deal with customers. A lot of creatives are just inspired and just want to do things based on inspiration. So this space is meant to capture all of that, and that's why we did a workspace too. So the workspaces, they come in, they're working, they're meeting other people. We hold workshops here, we hold master classes here. We find ways in which we'll be able to equip these people with the skills that would help them monetize their craft. Because out there in the world, artists are very rich people. They are making a lot of money. Out here in Ghana, you see artists and they're like everyday people, they're struggling. And you see someone whose art is being used, unless maybe someone from outside comes to tap into it. And sometimes they're even exploited.
Yeah, because they don't know their rights. They don't understand what they can. Yeah.
Some artists think they don't even need a lawyer, but they are the ones that even need a lawyer more than anything because of IP protection. So how do we get them in a space that we can impart these things onto them? You get what I mean? So that's the purpose of Jambo Spaces.
Okay.
Apart from them creating, connecting with each other and collaborating, we want to build a sense of community. A community where you can find access to any kind of person that can help you move to the next level, amplify yourself to the next level. I'm a big believer of Africa to the world because I feel like we need to be heard. We need to be seen. There's so much going on in this continent that the world, I mean, when you travel, sometimes I travel and you're even telling people you're from Ghana and they're like, some don't even know where Ghana is. They think it's Guyana or something.
I know, because I grew up in Canada with people all the time. I would say I'm Ghanaian. They would say, "Oh, you're from Guyana, Guyanese." Yeah. So I understand.
And then it can be quite frustrating because this is like a country filled with lots of talent, lots of amazing people. So Jambo is just our vision to be able to bring these people together. There's this thing they say that when you build it, they will come. People keep asking me, this thing that you're investing so much time into it, are you sure people are going to come? I'm like,
people will come.
I mean, I'm doing it for the long term. I'm not, obviously, we need money to sustain it. But the first goal is to ensure that I answer that question or I close that problem or that gap of creatives not being able to cross that bridge to being successful professionally and being heard globally.
Right.
So whether it makes money now or people don't show up now or not, I don't mind building the community gradually.
Yeah.
Because community is the main reason we're doing this. If even 5 people are going to start coming here every day, and over time they bring 3 more people, and it even takes 6 months to get even 20 people to come here religiously, that's fine. That's a community I'm building. That's community of creatives is stronger than thousands of them that are scattered out there. You get what I mean? So, I mean, I encourage creatives to come here and use it as their home. They can come here and take a desk for a day. It's just 100 cedis.
I was just going to talk about that because you mentioned money, and I was wondering what's the cost involved when people come here looking through this manual.
It's just, for example, you and I sitting here now. You let's say you pay 100 cedis, I pay 100 cedis, and spend the whole day here. You have access to internet, have access to meeting rooms. We'll complete the meeting room soon. Have access to resources, meet people, and I mean the space in general. And it even gets cheaper the more you commit to it. So if you want 3 days in a month, if you want 5 days in a month, you pay 300 cedis. So that's 200 cedis off. And if you want 10 days in a month, you pay 500 cedis. That's a whole 500 cedis off. So it's like we're even incentivizing people to spend more time here and spend less money. You understand?
Do you have monthly rates?
Yeah, so the monthly rates are based on the number of days. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
So 10 days for 500, and it goes on and on. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically that's it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
It's
That's
quite flexible.
Yeah,
And
you have a lot going on here, and some people who are watching may not know that you actually were part of the Twitter team
yeah.
in Ghana. I know that it's a spot that people don't like to talk about, people who
No,
are
no,
there,
no.
but
I'm super grateful that I got a chance to work there. If there's anything I took out from working at Twitter is even strengthening and reviving my how do you call it, my zeal to push Africa to the world. Because this is me from Africa representing. It was a job, right? But it
Yeah.
felt like I was representing the continent.
Yeah.
Like the whole continent is on my back. And every time I walk into meetings or I get on calls, everyone wants to know more about Africa. I become like that Africa representative. You get what I mean? So to me, it was more like a duty or like a calling kind of thing. Like I was representing the continent. And one thing I picked up from that is partnership. I was working in partnerships, and I realized that a lot of us as Africans don't like to partner. We like to do, that
On your
thing,
own, the solos in your
yeah,
silo.
when we're in primary school and you're doing a test and everybody's like this, and you don't want your next person to see what you're writing because you don't want them to copy you. That's how we've taken it up into growing up, and even, I mean, when I had a chance to do my master's in the UK, I realized that everything is collaborative. They put you in groups all the time.
Yes,
Yeah,
group assignments.
Group work.
Yeah.
Like the moment in one class, they break you up about 4 times to do group work. But it wasn't like that here in the education system here. It's like everyone's solo, everybody's doing their thing, everybody's they're recording the marks individually. They put the marks on, and there's a competition first to 20th if you're in the class. Like there's always who is last, who is first, and that mentality has seeped into our business lives. So you are doing something, I'm doing something similar. So automatically, even though we are kind of competitors, but if we collaborate, we can make more money together. And we don't have that collaborative spirit, and that is why Jambo is here. Because I want people to collaborate. Like partnerships is so big for me right now because the kind of partnerships that I have secured, even in the short span of just opening Jambo a week ago. Look at this, right? We have a partnership with a group called ArtSwap. ArtSwap rents out artwork and helps artists have visibility of the artwork. I was torn between, should I go buy artwork and just place in the space? Now, what that does is that fine, I contribute to giving the artist money by buying, but the artwork stays here for, if it's 10 years or whatever, it's just going to be there. But why don't I leave the space open for an artist to put his artwork here? Someone comes in, they like it, they buy it. The artist gets his money. I also get something small for keeping it here. But the good thing is that I keep changing it.
A new piece.
And every time another artist has opportunity to how they call it, sell their artwork. And at the same time, I also get an opportunity to have a new look. So I'm happy, you're happy, and that's partnership, that's collaboration.
I want to say thank you for what you're doing. I mean, I saw this on Twitter just yesterday. And then I sent you a message that I wanted to come here today and come and see the space and see what you're doing. I think that this is going to be the answer to a big void that exists. And I can see this being something that grows and you end up with locations in so many different places.
So from here, we want to move into, obviously expand a bit more in Ghana. So if we have another location in maybe Kumasi, we'll take it. But we want to move into Lagos. We want to move into Nairobi. We want to move into South Africa. And any other African market that's like, I mean, Uganda is there, Tanzania. We don't mind expanding. We've already started having DMs of people who are saying, yo, let's replicate this in my country. Let's replicate this in my country.
That's a very good sign.
Yeah, last year I was in Equatorial Guinea for a tech conference, and I spoke to them about my vision for this place. So when I was done and they saw the pictures, like, yo, like, and that's the only Spanish-speaking African country, you know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they want to do something like this. They are ready, like, you know what, come over, let's start this now. So I'm open to take this anywhere. And people ask us, why Jambo? Jambo is basically It means hello in Swahili. And people are like, oh, why did you use Ghanaian language? I'm like, I'm not thinking just Ghana, I'm thinking Africa, you understand? And I was thinking, what is the biggest African language? And Swahili is the biggest African language. So let me use a language that has the
That
masses.
spans more
Yeah,
countries.
it spans more countries. So that Jambo means hello. We don't say hello here. You can see, cancel out the hello.
Yeah, I saw
We say
Jambo.
Jambo. Yeah, you show up, you say Jambo, you say Jambo, Jambo, and then that's it. So this is
Jambo also has a music studio that has been set up for the purpose of creatives to be able to come in and produce music. In Ghana, getting a production studio can be quite expensive for a lot of emerging artists, and a lot of times they can't afford it. So it's great that Jambo has this available.
modern speakers. We have screens. We have very like the acoustics have been done very well for top level music production. So we have all the inverters, the traps, and bass traps, and all the things that deflect the sound. Yeah. So this is our music studio, and it's in use. People come here and they create content. Yeah, we have a booth too out here.
Yeah, let me see the booth.
So we have the booth.
I'm in the booth.
There you go.
I can't sing, but I can speak. I can record audiobooks. I can record inspirational podcasts right here.
We
at
actually
Jambo.
have a podcast room that we're building, so that's gonna be separate.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. It was really great having Bernard take me around the space and see all of the things that are being done to help support the creative community in Ghana. This will be a one-stop shop for people to be able to come and create content and just have a safe space to connect with others. I also got a chance to sit down with his partner and talk to her about some of the things that are being done to help support women in the creative community here as well.
My name is Therese Jones. I'm co-founder and head of operations for Jambo Spaces.
And I've taken the tour through the space here, and I think it's really great what the two of you are doing.
Thank you.
What I would love to know, because he told me a lot about, the idea of where this came from, because what we see is in the creative economy, we see a lot of the guys in Africa who are like the faces of tech and creativity. What do you see for the future of this space and for like women who may be in the creative economy?
When I first moved here from the US and started the agency that we had before this business, one of the first things I noticed was the lack of women in creative spaces. And when I started to do my research, I realized it wasn't that they weren't interested in being in the space, they just weren't encouraged to do it. When we finally decided to pivot into building a hub for creatives, as much as we wanted to serve the community, we realized that, I realized right away that this now gives us an opportunity to give women a home. A lot of the creatives here have, especially the men, they have their own cliques and groups that kind of help each other. And they all meet up in many different unique places all over town to get ideas, to build, to grow things. But I realized it wasn't that for young women or even women at all. A lot of times they're joining the men's groups or they're just finding jobs that they feel comfortable to be themselves in. So one of my main goals and one of my visions is to really see this place flourish with more female creatives. Like I want people to be able to say there's more videographers, more like editors, graphic designers, writers. You name it. I want the list to be as full as there is for men right now, because there's so many opportunities coming into Africa. And if you lose out on the woman's perspective, you lose out on core stories that can allow like the world to really understand the continent and what it's capable of. So yeah, so that's what I'm hoping, and I'm praying that Jambo actually provides to not just Ghana, but everywhere that we decide to build, all over Africa.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
So our social media pages are Jambo Spaces on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're
really
welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for opening up your doors to me today and chatting with me today.
You're always free to come here to work.
Thank you.
Interact. I mean, it's It's free for a while,
Mhm.
so you can just come sit here and work until we get a couple of things in order. But for now, we are opening it up for people to
Okay,
just
come and try it out.
Yeah. The
Okay.
only thing we are monetizing now is the spaces, and even that, have a conversation, a partnership conversation on how that looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.